Hello everyone, welcome back to Current Economy and Investment Insights. The date today is March 22nd, 2021. I'm Ron Jankowski with Channel 4. My co-host is Paul Munichel from Ameriprise. Paul is at his studio at home to keep distance during the virus. I'm going to let Paul take it and we'll see what took place last week. Take it away, Paul.
Okay, Ron, thanks for turning it over to me this morning. And today I want to talk about how the market has been rising. And a question I get often is, will the market continue to go up? And one answer to that has to do with earnings. So I want to talk about earnings today and how it may have an impact on the markets moving forward. The good news is earnings expectations do continue to rise. Now, relative to where consensus estimates stood in September 28th of last year, S&P 500 companies reported actual results over the second half of 2020 that exceeded estimates by a total of $12.62. Actual earnings per share exceeded estimates by $6.43, a 19.5%. in Q3 and $16.19 or 17.1% in Q4. Now the outperformance as well as the improving economic outlook has enabled earnings estimates. Now we're looking at Q1 of this year and the full year this year to further rise as well. On the September 28th last year, the S&P 500 consensus estimates looked for full year 2021 EPS of 166.42. Full year estimates currently look for an EPS of 175.53, which would represent a year-over-year gain of 22.5% if that's achieved. Now, based on today's opening level for the S&P 500, it would also result in a PE ratio of 22.3 versus the current 27.6. Estimates for 2022 have also been rising. Consensus estimates for 2022 currently look for full year earnings per share results of $201.98, which would represent a 15% year-over-year increase versus the $192.43 forecast for 2022 at the start of Q4 last year. Now, all these estimates and actual data is cited comes from FactSet today. And it's just another element to the stock market. Earnings aren't the only thing that makes the stock market move, but they certainly are something that helps the market to move. And if earnings are projected to increase, that can be potentially a factor that can keep the market going forward. But there's several other factors that are known and unknown to the market that will make it go where it wants to go. But at least this is some good news that potentially we can see the market continue to go higher. That's going to do it for the first half of the show today, Ron, so I'll send it back over to you.
Thanks for the update, Paul. Ameriprise had given us the information as of what took place at the start of the market this morning. U.S. stock index futures are higher with technology stocks leading the gains amid a decline in bond yields. The yield on the 10-year Treasury is lower in early trading, retreating from a 14-month high to just under 1.6%. Stocks in Asia closed mixed as the Shanghai Composite added more than 1%, while Japan's Nikkei fell 2.1%. And an interesting trade that is taking place, Canadian Pacific Railway has agreed to buy Kansas City Southern for $25 billion in cash and shares. The following are year-to-date indications from Dow Jones is a plus 7%, S&P 500 is a plus 4%, and NASDAQ is a plus 2%. Things are starting to really hedge upward. That's it for today and for last week. We're going to be switching to a show called Your Money. Paul usually has a topic very interesting to consider, and we will see you in a little bit. Stay with us. And thank you for staying with us. We're back with Your Money. We're going to switch back to Paul, and he usually has interesting topic. Take it away, Paul.
Okay, today for the second half of the show, we are going to talk about travel plans. With the economy slowly beginning to reopen as more and more people are vaccinated, and not being able to travel much last year, there may be some pent-up demand for travel. So let's dive into that a little bit today. And I've often heard that sometimes people plan more for their traveling vacations than they do for their retirement. That is not a good ratio. It should be the other way around, in my opinion. But I'm going to help out those travelers out there a little bit today. So let's dive into the data. So like I said, for so many people who love to travel, it's been a tough 12 months since the onset of COVID-19. Now, while the vaccines do give us hope that the crisis will ease, traveling today still requires careful planning. COVID-19 is a factor booking flights and making other travel arrangements. So here we're going to talk about some important considerations. First thing you're going to want to do is check requirements to travel destinations. So currently, a number of countries and even selected states within the US require that you can prove a negative COVID-19 test in the past 72 hours in order to enter. Importantly, for those planning travel overseas, you will be required to get a COVID-19 test coming from most countries in order to return home. To this point, being vaccinated generally does not alter the requirement to be tested first. If you've contracted COVID-19 within 3 months of your trip and are no longer symptomatic, you may not be required to get a test to re-enter the US. You'll want to take the time to explore all of the rules for your destination. Another tip is to take note of airline cancellation policies. Your current environment increases the chance that you'll have to alter your plans at the last minute or sooner. Now, many airlines today offer great flexibility to deal with cancellations and changes. That was the case prior to COVID-19. Be sure to check with your carrier to understand their rules. While you may not be able to collect a refund, many airlines may allow cancellations and apply the cost you paid towards future rebooking, a different flight at another time, or offer a voucher for future travel. As you make plans, consider your ability or willingness to fly again on the same airline in the future in order to take advantage of this flexibility. Next, you're going to want to think about reservations for accommodations. Many hotel chains and even some services that allow you to reserve private rooms or properties may be more lenient these days when it comes to potential refunds. Again, it's important to check the terms of your reservation before you lock it in to know whether you face any costs if you are forced to cancel your trip short. Consider travel insurance. Given the added flexibility to rebook flights and cancel hotel reservations, that aspect of travel insurance may be less important today than was the case prior to COVID-19. Yet, some form of travel insurance may make sense, and medical coverage can be particularly important for overseas travel. Be aware that typical trip insurance won't include coronavirus as a covered reason for cancellation. That may require a cancel for any reason policy. Be sure to understand the terms of the policy before you go. Last but not least, consider staying stateside. Given the complications associated with the airline and overseas travel, you might prefer car travel in coming months. It can help limit your contact with larger groups of people, and most chain hotels put an emphasis on providing a safe environment. If you plan a vacation in the US and have flexibility with time, going over the road may prove to be a simpler option for you. Hopefully that will help some people at home. People that watch the show know I am a financial advisor. I am not a travel agent. So these are just some general ideas to think about. I always recommend working with a professional in any form. So maybe before you book your trip, consider working with a professional travel agent who can help you work through these ideas that I've just provided for you today. And that's going to do it for me. If you are in need of a financial advisor, feel free to give me a call directly. You can reach me at 708-226-3412. Calls are free, and I will offer up my opinions and see what I can do to help anyone that reaches out. Have a great week, and I'll send it back over to you, Ron.
Thank you, Paul, for the interesting topic. For Paul Munico from Ameriprise Financial, myself, Ron Jankowski with Channel 4 in Palos Heights, we wish you good investment day.